What's up guys, my name is Tim and I've been fixing BMWs for over a decade now, and today we have BMW E92 and this is a kind of different video today. I'm going to be walking you through the process of the diagnostic. There are plenty of issues you can experience with your BMW, and it can be the engine failures, like cooling system failures, all kinds of sorts of leaks, anything. In today's study we're going to be experiencing the electrical problems as you got from the title and the thumbnail. A little bit about the car. So this is a 2011 BMW 328i E92, which is coupe, and it's also super low emission car. How can I tell? Right here, secondary air injection pump. The SULIF cars will always have it. Non-SULIF cars will have an empty spot right here. The other tell is right here, super low emission, SULIF. The interesting part about it, since it's 2011, it still has 2 years of warranty under SULIF in California, which is 15 years or 150,000 miles, and this car has 135,000 miles, so it's still covered by the warranty, which means anything emission related should be covered by the dealer, not because of their good grace, but because they're required to do that by law of California. There are other states that follow the same law, like New York, I know for sure. The rest, go to BMW of North America and check it out for yourself. I want to remind you guys about the membership program. If you need help diagnosing your BMW problems, you can have a direct access to me, share data with me, the codes and diagnostic process with me directly for $10 a month. And for $5 a month, you can do pretty much everything, unless you can't send me the full data and everything. It's all you can describe in the comments. It will be prioritized to answer, and I'll do my best to navigate you through your problems. Or if you just want to support the channel and see more content like this, you can become a member just for that, and I'll thank you. So let's begin. I got this car recently and it's been sold to me as a electrical issue kind of thing. So what do we know? Let's start from the very beginning, before I even got to the car. As the seller described, you can jump start the car and it will run. Once you turn it off, it's like completely dead and you have to jump start it again. So I got there and lo and behold, of course, we jump start it, it runs, everything's fine. I turn it off, it's completely dead, no electricity whatsoever in the car. So the first thing pops into my head, of course, the battery related issue. So I tell the seller, like, look, have you replaced the battery recently? And he said, well, took it to AutoZone, O'Reilly's, whatever, and they checked the voltage and everything's fine and the amps are fine, the battery's fine, so everything's good. All right, okay, that leads to me to know, when did he take it there? What happened in between? Something's not right. So I get the car, I buy the car. The other symptom, before I left, he told me, it's like, look man, it's like this electrical gremlins here and there. When you drive past 50 miles an hour, everything starts to flicker. The ABS light turn on and off, like the tire pressure monitoring system, the radio, the iDrive system, everything shuts off and goes back on again. So what's up with that? So of course I went 60 to 70 miles an hour to diagnose the car. So first thing you want to do is measure the voltage while the car is stationary. Let's see, I have the battery, and let's start the car. And I also want to measure it with the wave, so it's like a graph. There we go, we have our minimum 9 volts and we climbing the alternator. Oh my, 14.6. That's a bit high, but in the beginning it's okay. So the battery, the overcharging of the battery might point us to the battery being weak. So that's possible because we have intelligent battery sensor in there that's kind of measuring the health of the battery. So what you want to do is just look at it, and since we had our symptom go over 50 miles an hour, everything starts go to shit. What I want to do is drive over 50 and see what happens. I already fixed this car, guys. So when I was driving between 50 and 70 miles an hour, what I experienced is spikes in electricity and voltage up and down. It went up to 20 volts and it went down to 10 to 8, so 20 10, and it's not constant, so the majority of time it was just a line like that, maybe a little bit below 14 volts. But important lesson here is the alternator is not only bad when it's undercharging the battery, it's also bad when it's overcharging the battery. So if the alternator going crazy, all the electronics will go crazy with it. So that's something I had to check out first. Next stop, the battery, of course. So what you want to check in here, at least the bare minimum, the connection. Is it tight? Is it good? If there are any corrosion in here on anything on the wires, everything positive related here and over there, just make sure everything is tight. Also this hose, it's a ventilation of the battery. It should be plugged in right here in the end. It's not that important for me yet, so I left it in there, whatever. But for the properly operational car, it should be connected. The battery also not stable, it means it's loose over there. Not a problem, but just check if everything is tight, because during our jumping session, basically jumped the car, took the jumper off, the car shuts down. Not supposed to happen. So I checked the connection and the battery was also loose. That happens. So the easiest solution for me was to go to the junkyard and get the alternator. So this is the old one, and you don't need to remove the pulley, but it makes noise. That's a bad pulley. Well, guess what? I get the bad one from the junkyard as well. But the important part is this alternator is no good. Why? It's overcharging the battery. It goes up to a 21 volt. I think I registered the max voltage. This is unacceptable, and I'm very surprised how this alternator haven't fried anything else, or so I thought. But replacing the alternator straightened everything out. It also charged the battery. The battery is still good. It holds the charge, but it just needed to be charged. That's all it is. So this is good news. This was an easy fix because I spent only 60 bucks on the alternator. It's part of a testing procedure, basically. I didn't want to open it up and find out what's going on in there. No, it's like, just go to the junkyard. It's 5 seconds to remove it, and let me show you how. So the alternator replacement is very simple. I don't even want to make a DIY video for that. We remove the air filter box and the 4 bolts are exposed. Of course, you need to remove the belt, which you need Torx 60 socket. Take the tension off, and there you go. 4 E12 bolts on the alternator and 13 millimeter positive connection to the alternator and the electrical connector, and it's off. It's very easy and very simple. So that was pretty straightforward for me. Swap the alternators, see what happens. What happened is, you already know, everything went back to normal. For the next step of the diagnostic, you definitely need a scanner, and it doesn't matter if it's something like this, very straightforward and simple, which I'm going to be using right now because it's just faster, or something like this, which is big and powerful and bidirectional and can do everything you want it to do. So let's get to scanning the car. Once I started driving the car, I obviously wanted to see what kind of other problems it has and what it has related to electrical issue, because sometimes it doesn't go unpunished to overcharge the battery like this. So the first thing you want to do, and that's going to be very confusing for everyone, because let's check the regular OBD2 codes. Those are P codes. Those codes I don't like, because they are non-specific and sometimes wrong. So let's read the codes. And we have manufacturer specified codes, BMW. As you can see, idle speed control valve. We don't have it here. It's throttle body only, and it controls the idle as well, of course. So, well, let's say it's related to the throttle body. permanent code. That means it has to go through 15 warm-up cycles to clear it out. It's nothing you can do about it. You can clear it. It's not going anywhere. So those are OBD2 codes. And let's go to the diagnostic. It's basically we need to go to the DME computer, and what happens? Yep, this happens. So when this happens, all you gotta do, well, for me, it happens on any scanner. Let's kind of reset the car. Go to DME. Yep, there we go. What do we have in a DME fault code? That's the digital management of the engine and vehicle speed plausibility. Another one. And monitoring engine torque limiting. So completely unrelated to the throttle body, honestly, at all. But vehicle speed plausibility, how is that correlates what we had in the OBD2? Let's check something else. Vehicle speed, what's responsible? Wheel speed sensors, of course. Let's see. And of course, we have wheel speed sensor, directional rotation, rear, left. Could it be that this sensor affects the throttle body? I honestly don't think so, but could it be that it affects the vehicle speed monitoring, and this in turn sends wrong signals to the DME about the idle or about the RPMs of the car, and in turn it tricks the OBD2 that thinking that something's wrong with the idle? Because if I measure the idle, let's start the car. Let's see. The next step of the diagnostic, let the car warm up a little bit. We'll go live data. Well, actually, we do have idle in here, just idle. And right here we can see the actual value and the specified value of the engine idle. And look at it. It's identical. It's very close to each other. It goes down together. The perfect parameter with the AC off is 660 RPMs. 660. You can change this to 700. It's adjustable, sort of, but it has to be coded to the car. So once the car warms up, I will see it go down to 660 specified value, and it will stay there for the whole time. So that tells me the throttle body, without even looking at the throttle body, without taking it apart, cleaning it out, because it's possible, depending on where you live, the throttle body gets clogged and it's suppressing the airflow. But that would cause more issues like loss of power, definitely maybe misfire at some point. So it's very, very telling. At this point, I don't even need to take it out. Specified value, actual value, very close to each other. That's how it's supposed to be. If it's within the 20, 30, 40 RPMs up and down, it's still decent. It's like there's nothing wrong with it. So that tells me, I think there is nothing wrong with the throttle body itself, and the OBD2 is freaking out. So here's the wheel speed sensor wiring, and this is the wiring for the adaptive lights, I would say. And you can look at it and see how everything's messed up, because it's supposed to go in this bracket right here, but everything is out of order. So this is the wheel speed sensor right here. Its only job is to measure speed and direction of rotation, basically. I'll remove it, replace it, and we'll go for a ride, guys. So the sensor replacement is a failure. For some reason, this one doesn't fit. This is ATE OEM sensor, and I checked and double checked every year of this car pretty much, and it's all the same part number, and I didn't make a mistake of ordering the wrong one, so everything checks out, but it doesn't fit into the hole. It's not going in, no matter what you do. It's just stuck in there. Whatever we have in there right now is not fitting properly either. So it's like there is a gap in there, which means it's not reaching its position and giving us the wrong reading. So I'll investigate that and we'll continue our diagnostic, but I would say in the other video. for now, this is a mechanical mystery. So this is it, guys, for the diagnostic, since we don't have the sensor to test it out. And at least I can tell you we solved the electrical issue, which the alternator overcharging the battery and killing the battery in the process, sort of, but it's been revived. This is a new project, so it might be a few videos on the channel with it, like the body needs work, which I'll do again, but we probably won't shoot it. So before and after, it will be there. I'll need to clean the car out. It has a nice combo of black with red interior, 135,000 miles. It's a good car. It also, the previous owner, I think he hit the curb because the fender is not stable. If you open the hood, all the parts where the bolts go, they're broken. I think it's wrapped in black, and it's like, it's a terrible job. Everything's awful because it goes from here, the fender liner is all messed up inside the wheel, and then we can see the side skirt that's bolted to the fender. Fender is plastic, and a little bit of a dent on the door, which I kind of straightened out a little bit. And there's a damage from this side, so it's a curb damage, something like that. So I found the guys who sell painted fenders already. This one is not that bad. It's just bolted on over there, and a little bit on the bottom and the fender liner. So that's all we have to do. Then polish the whole car and make it beautiful again and running properly. That we will figure out later on. I hope this video was helpful for you guys and it helped you a little bit navigate your problems with your BMW. Diagnostic is the most complex thing you can encounter in any automotive world. So stay tuned for more content like this, because the problem's not over with this one, and I'm definitely gonna get to the bottom of it. And hit that like button, subscribe, and share the video if you find it helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.